All right. So here we are. As we said, we came from the stream, from the spaces to the stream. It's been quite a while. I've been in Brazil. I think I'm finally going to be back in my studio in Portugal soon. But that's what's going on here, guys. So it's been.
Hey everyone. Only you can prevent undercutting.
Just played Jeb's intro by accident. So that's a good start. All right. So let me bring some of you guys in here. There's Wolf. There's Mark. What's going on, guys? You know what? I have to fix this thing's breaking. Oh no, I can hear you.
What's happening? What are we doing? Wolf, how you doing? How was the bike ride home, brother?
I think I couldn't hear Wolf for a second here. Wolf, are you hearing Wolf, Mark?
No. Did you mute yourself, Wolf?
Yes. We're off to a good. I had mentioned that I'm having my coffee and Bailey's to get things rolling, and I'm off to a fantastic start here. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys.
Great. Good to see you too. So I've got some Wolf. I have some Wolf videos clipped ready to go. We have one special one. We have like our legendary Wolf video, and then we have some normal Wolf videos and some rares. So depending on what I throw in there, you guys will know if you were blessed with a common, rare, or legendary Wolf. For example, like one of these. I think that's probably like your common. So that's just kind of letting you know what's out there.
That looks like Wolf before he has his coffee and Bailey's.
So what? I see Steve's back here, so we'll bring in Steve as well.
Let's get Steve in for sure. There we go. Lead Wolf.
What's going on?
That's a wolf-like beard you got going, my friend. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Steve, when we talked, like a while ago, months ago. I feel like that was the beginning, and since then you haven't shaved.
Well, yeah, I was I'll shave when these pack drops can be air free. I've been waiting for them, flawless drop. And then it's like, okay, it's coming right off. But until then, I'm just keeping it in solidarity with everyone else.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's like a playoff beard, but for packs. Yeah.
And
The playoffs end after a few weeks, though. This could go on for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially after today's long drop. But, I guess today maybe they got it right as opposed to got it fast. We hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And that's something I was noticing too, actually, is that the queue itself on Top Shot was actually moving. It seemed to be progressing really nicely over the last few drops. Like this last drop, I thought it was moving really fast. If we're talking about queue speed compared to the NFL one today, it seemed like people were complaining that it was going pretty slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the NFL one, the NFL one stopped, right? Like it had a huge pause. Dapper seemed to be down. The marketplace on Top Shot was down. I don't know. I assume they were connected. I don't know if anybody has any insight, but.
Yeah, I think Dapper payment processing was down, so that across everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had friends who were trying to pay with credit card, and they said that the credit card feature wasn't working. But the Dapper was, and then it went paused right after that. So there must have been some payment issue going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's like a minor issue compared to some of the struggles from the last 24 hours.
Yeah. How's everyone feeling 24 hours later? Q-gate. Randomization.
Shufflegate.
Shufflegate.
Yeah, Shufflegate.
This isn't just Shuffle. It's like Shufflegate 3.0 or 4.0. It's like this is a couple revisions later. But.
So Wolf, how long have we been doing spaces? It's been a couple of months. It's been a minute, right? We've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I think our first one was in September, and I think since start of November, me and you have been doing every Friday.
And I know
Steve pretty much all of them too. Yep.
Yeah, and way back, Steve had talked about some of the queue, or not the queue, but the randomization issues that he had noticed. And Steve, it's sort of they haven't addressed it, right?
I mean, they haven't. I've brought it up a few times. I've basically brought it up privately a few times, and every time I did, it was basically dismissed because the thing about randomization, it's really hard to debug. It's really hard to prove random or not random, because technically any outcome is probably possible, just not probable. And so yeah, I've noticed things, and I brought it to the attention, and it's like eventually something like this is going to happen where it becomes obvious because of the way we check out. Now, why it wasn't obvious before was because you could only buy one pack at a time, right? Or whatever, like for the other drops. Usually, I mean, I know the Series 3 base stuff is different, but yeah, you know what? Let's hope this is behind us, and let's hope that Dapper's taking the shuffling seriously, because it's it's a pretty big part of this. They don't sell us much. They sell us the packs and the moments in the packs. So their only job is to make sure that part of it works. The marketplace and all that stuff, they don't sell those. That's us, right? We sell to each other. So the distribution of moments has to be fair, and let's just really hope that that's held in a really high, a high regard or highlight, because it's all behind closed doors right now, right? We take them for their word that it's random and it's fair, and things like yesterday, it takes something really wrong to happen for them to move, and they should preemptively be looking at bugs like this, because it just has me a little bit worried that they're not the most critical part of our platform is ignored until something like this happens. What are you doing?
So one of the things now, admittedly, I was up really early this morning and I read the blog post or the audit, early this morning, and I haven't looked at it since. But Steve, it sounded like when I read through it the first time that the issue, they're at least trying to say that the issue isn't the same as previous packs, where you would, maybe it's a hollow pack drop, but it's only a hollow pack drop. The issue, it sounded like, was because it was hollows and rares and these game recognizes games, and mixing those up within all the packs. It seemed like that was the issue.
Yeah.
Does that sound legitimate to you?
No, but yeah, 100%. When I read the blog, it's like, yeah, obviously, right? But like, there should be a pre-flight checklist here of, okay, do we have the moments? Yes. Are the moments themselves shuffled in the packs? Yes. Are the packs shuffled? Yes. Okay, sell the packs. Simple. Like this is really simple stuff, and they don't do it. So like, they spend all this money. Kevin Durant, this pack. This is the biggest marketing campaign we have ever seen, and something so simple. Why? Like, I get the beta tag, I get all of that, but come on, like this isn't like it doesn't take a genius to figure this out. And here's the crazy part: is to me, I can't figure out, like, when in doubt, shuffle it one more time. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, they had paused it, right? They had like delayed it or something.
Yeah, well, we don't know the reason for the original delay, but it's like if you go to if you're playing in the casino or something, it's like, imagine them not shuffling the card deck, right? It's like, imagine if you were at the casino, it's like, well, maybe they normally shuffle it 10 times. Well, what's the harm in shuffling it 20 times or whatever? Like, there's no harm in shuffling it a few more times, but under shuffling it or not shuffling it, you're going to have a bad time. And that's just, I don't understand why this just isn't given more attention. And this is not the first time this has happened. We know this.
Right.
Like maybe this particular pack issue first time, but come on. Like, this is so true. So critical here. Like we I know a lot of us were a part of the Donovan Mitchell throwdowns fiasco, which was like pretty, like that one was an easy explanation as well. You had accounts that were made, like older accounts, and then at some point they migrated to basically Google for their sign-in. So you had like the old legacy sign-ins and the Google account sign-ins. So they separated both and they randomized both groups separately, and that's why like the lower or the early users got better serials. It's like, why did anyone check that? I think this is an older one, so now I know they probably learned from that, but man, this just goes back to most of the frustrations I think we have on Top Shot are just like, shuffling the cards.
Steve, what did you think about the explanation about how it was related to them testing with trade tickets?
I think it was completely unrelated. I think they were reaching, in my opinion, right? It's like, because we know they were testing for trade tickets, and it's a pretty slick system, and that system needed a lot of tests. But there was nothing with the Kevin Durant drop. There was nothing related to trade tickets. I think they were just trying to say, oh, we test things. Like, here's an example. We test trade tickets. It's like, well, guys, they're completely two separate things.
Well, and
they're not related. They said trade tickets for this, and I think they were reaching. Yeah, go ahead.
They said in the audit that they had tested a few different things before this drop, but they didn't test the one thing that was new and unique, right? Because all the other drops are relatively similar. This was the one thing that was unique, and they didn't test it.
Interesting. It's funny how that works, right? The one thing we changed. You know what? There's a lot of they said this in the blogs. Like, a lot of variables changed, guys. Like, but we're not going to test any of those. like what the fuck are you doing?
Hold on, just to play devil's advocate here. What if what they were testing was, and maybe this doesn't make sense, but when they said trade tickets, do you think that perhaps they were taking like the S3s, the S2s, the S1s, the rares, whatever, and then being like, okay, why don't we see how this works? We're going to shuffle all these things in the locker room and then create packs from it, and will that work? But my question is, if that's what they were doing and if that was working, does that make sense that if that wouldn't somehow be related to the new way of doing things?
Well, it sounded like, based on the audit that they put out, that the challenge or what happened wasn't related to the individual packs necessarily. It was the shuffling of the different level of moment, right? It was the legendary, rare, and the game recognizes game. You can't replicate that in a locker room pack with trade tickets. You really can't replicate that in an S1 reserve pack, because you don't have those different levels of moments. Right, they're all common in those packs.
because every pack needed one game recognized game moment,
Right.
then randomizing on top of that in theory, or shuffling on top of that. That makes
Right.
Yeah, but like I think it's important to separate. There's two separate parts here of randomization. There's like the moments in the packs themselves have to be randomized, and then the packs have to be randomized.
Right.
So the moments in the packs were randomized, but the groups of packs, actually, in the group of packs themselves, like all the hollows packs,
We're all grouped together.
Well, they were grouped together, but I think they were
Right.
randomized within each other.
Yes.
Because what otherwise what we would have seen yesterday is like, you know, Dort number 1, Dort number 2,
Right.
Dort number 3.
Right.
Like, so
Right.
we're confident that the packs, like the hollow packs, were shuffled. But then when they merged all of them, it's like, okay, you know, game recognized game, MGLE, hollow, they just put them all in the stack, and they didn't shuffle those again. It's like, well, you need to shuffle that again. And it's like one of those things in the post. It's like, oh, well, obviously, you know, it's like, well, yeah, like, again, I want to believe, I know Dapper has really, really smart people working there. Really smart. This is one of the reasons why I love Top Shot, because I'm just so crazy about, like, I know that they have poached so many awesome collectors. We know this. They have some really smart minds there. But for this to happen, something broke down, and this just can't happen. And the part that was most upsetting to me yesterday was the blog didn't really say, here's what we learned and here's how we're going to make sure it never happens again. They didn't say that. It's like, here's your money back, that's it. Like, wait,
So-
like, is it going to happen again? Like, did you not learn
Right.
anything? Like,
Right.
can you reassure me, please, that I'm not going to fucking be frustrated again? Like, why? Can you just, you know?
does seem
Well-
like a huge part of the community does want transparency of this audit right now. You're right. A lot of people that I've talked to, it's like, was the money back enough? And the money back was great. It's fine. I got free moments. But yeah, I think that, like Steve said, people really want this transparent audit to happen. Now, so in the past, Steve, even when we've had you on the Wolf Den, you've sort of asked Dapper employees about the shuffling, and they said after every shuffle they do an audit, and you raise some issues. Do you think that those steps are being missed, or do you think they're rushing things, or why would big mistakes like this happen?
Again, it goes, I think, to like the pre-flight checklist of every single pack drop. There should be someone, like, you know, whether it's like an auditor or basically just quality assurance, being like, you know, are the moments in the pack shuffled? Yes. Are the packs shuffled? Yes. Right. They should just go through this checklist. And I'll go one step further. There should be, like, you know, when you build a bridge, there's an engineer's stamp and seal, like, same thing. Someone needs to be, like, ultimately accountable for, yeah, it's shuffled, right? Yep. Like, the fact that we don't see any of this, and it's popping up, and I'll say it, like, trust is the most important part here. Like, we're selling digital, you know, we're selling JPEGs and stuff between each other. Like, it's so hard to convince people that NFTs are not a scam, right? Like, if they even heard of NFTs, right? Let's say they hear about it, they think it's a scam. So we already have an uphill battle, and then you have something like this, where you're not confident that the randomization is actually fair. Like, then, man, I don't even know where to begin.
You know, but I guess my point, the way I feel is like, and what most people say when this kind of thing happens is like, how would it benefit Dapper to somehow rig the deck? Like, what sense could that possibly make?
I agree. It doesn't make any sense. But, like, there'll be people who say, you know, it happened, you know, earlier on. They'd say, you know, Wales got this or that or whatever. But it's like, there'll always be someone who reaches for some weird thing. Like, you know, I like this. I don't know if you guys go on, like, the subreddit for, you know, NBA Top Shot, but, like, that place comes up with some really crazy conspiracy. Well, months ago when Top Shot was having problems, man, just the types of stuff I saw, it was awful. I tried my best to, like, contribute positively and, like, actually debunk the FUD, but the FUD was like just an avalanche. And it really opened my eyes to, like, some people just will believe they want to believe that like there's some kind of like there's a puppet master and like something else is going on here and it's all coordinated against them. That's why they're not pulling anything good in their packs.
Yeah, it's only the influencers who are getting the good moments.
Yeah.
You hear all those things.
If that's the case, Tandy, what'd you get?
I know. Yeah, Steve didn't get any hollows.
Game recognized game.
Yeah,
I did get the John Morant, which was nice, but
me
yeah,
too,
game recognized game.
We
So let's
must
just
have been side by side in line.
Yeah, let's just see a couple comments here. So Smush is saying that the Mitchell apology, so that's back when what you were talking about, Steve, was kind of cocky, hubris. This only impacted a very small percentage, and we're providing a lot of compensation. Made me think at the time that they weren't taking it seriously. The thing that I remember from that actually was, I think maybe a little bit of that hubris was when. I think it may have been Jacob being like, why would we possibly not randomize it? Like how, like kind of like what I just said, like how, what in our right mind, why would we ever do that? And if you don't trust the randomizer, like, I don't know what to say to you. And I think the problem though, that after what happened yesterday, it's not even about like, if we just trust them blindly, it's like, yeah, we want to trust you, but could you also maybe just open the lid and let us just kind of peek around and look at like the open source? Like when people are about to mint a contract on an NFT and you don't want to transfer all your Ethereum to the person when you click the button. They say, look at the contract. You can see it's fine. Like, hold on, what's going on here?
Can you read that?
It says give Mitchell. That's all I can read.
Give Mitchell his star. Give Mitchell his
star.
star.
Yeah. That's a good point. It was one of the first showcase challenges, right?
Yeah.
He should get a star.
That's a Wolfpack. Actually, you wanted some Wolfpack inside jokes.
That deserves a video. This is actually a
Give
rare.
Spida his star. It's hashtag.
This is a rare, and it's basically signifies that you can't mess with the Wolfpack. A wolf story.
I love it. Where do I get that suit?
Oh man, yeah. But anyhow, so yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, you fool me once, you can't fool me again. What was that George Bush one? Like that.
I'll never be fooled again. Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'll never be fooled again.
And then something like that. But yeah,
so one of the things. Oh, sorry, Tandy. But one of the things, I watched your video earlier that you put out, Tandy, on Twitter about this evening. But yes, I think most of the people who are on Top Shot are fairly heavily invested, and they're not going anywhere. And they're mad, and we will get over this, and Dapper will make it right. I'm fairly confident of that. But to Steve's point earlier, and I think it's maybe what Steve had either, I can't remember if it was in the Wolfpack DM or on Twitter. Like, this was a huge marketing campaign. This was a big thing. It was a KD thing. It was a new pack style. It was like all of these things.
I know.
And it shit. And that is massive, right? Like, how many people got turned off completely by this?
Well, I actually don't think that many people did get turned off by this, because it's basically just the people with 10,000 and above collector score. So those are just like the real tried and true Top Shot collectors.
Yeah.
Like, if this had happened on Monday, or what was supposed to be the next pack drop,
Right.
then I think this would have been a whole lot uglier with like the people who have just heard about Top Shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I would answer that question. I think the people who are really sore and salty right now are the people who have put some time into this game.
We didn't see the numbers in the blog post, but I would like to see how many people. I thought about this morning. I was like, how many people actually got 5 packs? Because we saw a couple screenshots floating around on Twitter, but you had to have over 100,000 collector score. Assuming you didn't go back in the queue a couple times, but I don't think that was even possible to go back like more than 2. So it's like, well, wait a minute, how many people were actually impacted? Because here's my point: is if you were towards the end and you only got one of those packs and you happen to pull a holo, I have no problems with that. Because if you bought 1 pack and you got 1 holo, it's like, fuck, I'm happy for you. I am. Even 2, it's like, okay, because even in the real world, that could happen. Where it starts to get a little bit things like 3 and 4 and 5, right? But it's like, I don't think there were that many people, but the blog didn't talk about how many people were actually affected by it. I think they should have, because Donovan Mitchell, I think, did. Or is it small? I don't know. Anyways.
Well,
And-
yeah. I mean, while you guys talk, I can actually pull up the live token stats on how many people have 100K.
But Steve, you were talking in a Twitter thread about the challenges, the Hollow Challenge.
Yeah.
Probably the Hollow Challenge is more impacted because I think there's more
Huge.
metallic
So
gold, right? Later?
75%. So 75% of the hollows were distributed yesterday, right? And I think it's about a third of the MGLEs were distributed. So what that basically means is, well, the MGLEs are impacted, but less. Hollows, what that meant, if you got 5 hollows and there's a Jalen Green reward, right? You basically were gifted a Jalen Green reward. Why this matters is, well, there's no incentive at that point for any of the people who got 5 hollows to sell them. Like, they'll just earn the reward. So that basically, like, the end result here is that there'll be fewer of these in the market. So the collectors that weren't able to get a pack or whatever, they'll have to pay. And they had a complete set, by the way. Like, they're just trying to maintain their set or whatever. They'll have to pay through the fucking nose to get these things, right? Assuming these people give it up. So there's the unintended consequence of all this is that you actually harm collectors who just wanted to participate in the challenges and whatever. So it's the reason why in most cases, like in the past, when Dapper is given credit, like when today, for instance, when they gave credit to all the people who bought packs, right? Some people are upset that the people who pulled hollows got credit, right? It's like, oh, they got credit. But the counter argument is, well, there's no sweat off your back. They got money. Like, it doesn't change your outcome. Like, you're no worse off because they got a Dapper credit, right? Where this changes is when people get 5 hollows, you are worse off if you were trying to go after a hollow challenge because you can't go after it. Like, they just lessen the market. You have to pay more. So it does impact everyone. And the same is true for MGLE. It does impact anyone who wanted to participate in these challenges. So to me, the biggest problem at this point is, how do you fix the outstanding challenges that were going to happen? And I think from what I've seen today is they might be adding more moments, or they might be doing something else because they minted more. The best comment I saw all day was from John Boy Beats, so who I think he gave credit to Top Shot Talk, I think, but it was like, why not for Jalen Green? Just mint all 99 of them as if it wasn't a reward, right? Basically, extending the reward will never happen, and you just distribute that moment in other packs or airdrop or whatever. I think other packs would make sense. It's like, yeah, that's fine, because then it's like the people who got 5 hollows or 3 hollows or 4, they're not like kind of double dipping, like, because they already won with the hollows. It's like, you don't have to win again by screwing everyone else trying to go after a challenge.
You were part of that too, Tandy, or you mentioned you wanted to see the challenges canceled too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't play in those deep waters. I mean, you see my videos. I'm dunking my head in very shallow water. But
is that why you're always banging your head off the bottom?
No, that's more actually just from talking with Steve when that was all going down, and that just kind of made sense to me. Basically, the exact point that he just made, which is, and it might be the same thing where some people might be like, well, that only affects a small amount of users, but I think it's more about the principle that, what happens when like a small amount of users get distributed the bulk of a set. Like, how do you then move forward with that set? And I think that based on what Steve just said, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to right that wrong.
Yeah, it's an important point too, because I think what Steve's saying, I've seen a lot of sentiment today that is sort of, oh, okay, let's just be happy for the people and move on, which I think everybody is happy for you if you pulled a bunch of hollows. But I think Steve's trying to say there's unintended consequences that affect certain collectors too. And so that's,
I'm happy for anyone who wins, but not at the cost of someone else. Like, if it hurts if you're robbing someone else, then it's like, well, is that a win, right? Because it just feels weird. And yesterday was a really weird day because, like, I think everyone felt bad on the platform. People who pulled these hollows, a lot of them felt awful after they learned that it's like, it just, the mistake. So they couldn't even celebrate the win that they got. And then on the other side, obviously everyone's really pissed off. So I think there was, it was just an awful day, and in that way.
Yeah. I don't want to make light of any of the, because I saw some of those videos of people like showing their packs and writing these long diatribes beforehand, like this disclaimer before they open their packs. But
Marvel, I'm so sorry. Yes, I saw someone had a poll that was like, should I post the video or not? It was like, post the video, man.
I
Post
know.
Yeah,
it.
that was Chewy, right?
Yeah.
Chewy did
I
that.
think so.
And
Yeah, I think it
honestly,
was Chewy.
I was really happy for Chewy because Chewy,
I was too.
he got 2 packs, by the way. Right, so it's not like he pulled 5, whatever. But like he's got like a heart of gold, and you know, just to see him and to see his reaction too, it's like, man, it was so good.
I know.
I felt that was what was robbed from all of us yesterday. Is I wanted to collectively celebrate with every single person who like pulled awesome things, but we couldn't do that. And it's a shitty feeling to like not feel good for someone else, and I really want to feel good for someone else.
Yeah. We did feel good, Mark, for Spork though, and Steve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beforehand and before the day said, I just want to pull an Ant-Man jersey match MGLE, and then did.
Wow.
And then did.
Wow, that deserves a rare Wolfpack video right now.
Rare.
Yeah. Tandy, how'd you get my grandfather on video?
Oh my god, this is me after dinner, just looking for the weirdest, the weirdest possible wolf howl videos.
I love it. I love it.
We absolutely love it. So other than an audit, how does do you think Monday the normal pack drop happens, we get some new moments, and then do you think it'll just breeze on by, or do you think that they're going to have to maybe audit not only this one, but show us how this next pack drop worked as well, you know, sort of behind the scenes? Do you think we really need to dig deep? Or is people going to be untrusting for the next couple months, or is this an internet thing that blows over right away? What are you guys feeling like?
I think the nature of this stuff is it does blow over right away. If I've learned anything being online 24/7 for like the elections and all that kind of stuff, like things blow over in like 48 hours. Yeah. So I don't know what to say. Like I would really like the same thing I was alluding to earlier. See the contract before you mint the NFT. I do kind of wish they could give us some version of that. It just seemed like earlier though it seemed like it was a non-option like months ago, and I don't know if that's changed.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel.
I know, like many months ago, I think it might have even been in Series 1. Alan hinted that he would like to see some like on-chain randomization at some point in time. That was a long time ago, and obviously like it takes time to build and whatever. But I would love to see some type of like a verifiable, provable way to say, yeah, this is random. And because the way you do it like in normal life is you have the list of people who were supposed to get something, and like you know, like the randomization seed, right? Because the seed's like the input that the randomization algorithm uses to generate the outcome. And it's like, oh, if you give it a list of users and the seed, you can reproduce, you know, what Dapper has. And I would like to see something like that where we can kind of see, well, yeah, this is random, right? I mean, this is the blockchain. Like we should be able to see that. It's actually one of the most frustrating parts here is like, it's built on a blockchain, but this part isn't trustless. This part is like very like, hey, trust us guys, believe us, like, you know. And like it's so far, like even in like a non NFT world, that is like a leap of faith, right? You're giving someone money and they're saying, yeah, believe me. And so I really hope they take this as like an opportunity to be a leader in the space and say, yeah, here's how we can verifiably prove all this is random.
Steve, they did the money back, obviously, and they did the blog post of the audit or whatever, but that was an internal audit, and you know, whatever. Do you think that they're going to take any further steps in regards to this particular issue with this particular drop, or do you think that they're fairly well done with this and we'll kind of see what happens on Monday and moving forward?
Well, I mean, if they're smart, in my opinion, they'll take this seriously and they'll incorporate some type of a, you know, verifiable, like stamp or something that says, yeah, this is all random. Every time we do this, this is random. This has been checked. Because, man, it just seems like there's no, like, I don't know. I just did the QA. Like, I don't know. Has it been checked when I buy? Like, I don't know. When I buy this pack, is it? I don't know. I feel like
One of the
yeah.
One of the things from the blog post that I just remembered that I thought was interesting is that they commented on the ability to sell these packs in the future, right? And they said that you wouldn't be able to. So once that option exists for other packs that people may have held, you won't be able to sell this particular pack.
Yeah, I think pack selling is closer than we think. So, that might be a feature coming in the next couple of months, I hope. But yeah, that would make sense because we know there's basically a flaw here, right? Sorry?
You know it's in the pack, so it makes no
it's
sense
in
to
it.
be able to pay it, to be able to sell it or buy it.
Right.
So here's a couple questions. Can you guys comment on the randomness of rewards? iRacer got another number one, shaking his head. I mean, the reason why iRacer got another number one is because we need that picture of him at the Old Navy dressing room with the new suit, with the new. Just kidding, but yeah. Do you guys ever?
I love how we all know that. Like, we all have this, like, obscure reference to something that happened months ago.
It was a 1 of 75, so at least his odds weren't terrible.
Yeah, you know what? The thing is like these types of things happen all the time, and that's fine. I mean, if it's random, that kind of stuff will happen, and we'll all have our day. Like, it took me, I did a ton of challenges. Like in Series 1 in particular, some of the challenges, there weren't that many people doing them. So I had really good odds every time. Like when I was doing some of the early Series 1 holos, there were 20 people who were doing them. So I'm like, oh, this is my chance to pull a number one or jersey. No, never happened. And I honestly, conservatively, probably done 200 challenges, right? So, so you do that, and then you have someone like Alexo early on. Alexo was like the king of pulling number ones in jerseys in Series 1. Every single time he'd be like, oh, Alexo wins again, right? And it was really frustrating. But I finally had my day, maybe a month ago, with the Davion Mitchell and GLE, got a number one. I'm like, about fucking time. That was like, I honestly was like yelling, like, fucking yeah, because it took such a long time to get that. And I think everyone, if you're in this long enough, like, your number will come up. And LG's in here, he remembers. Alexo, like, that was just like a crazy situation. Every time too was like, Alexo again, Alexo wins. Yeah, anyways, that's my answer to that.
Yeah, it just was random. Yeah, and do we feel like they changed the reward distribution after the last controversy? Like after the Spida thing? Did they just say it was different, or has it been distributed differently? Do you know, Steve?
I haven't noticed. Like, I usually, the thing is, again, the randomness is really hard to pinpoint. Like if there's an error or something or a flaw, you usually only notice it when there's like things that are happening in sequential order. It's like, oh wait, why were the rewards distributed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever to like certain people by account age? Like, that's a really easy one to figure out. But since then, I haven't noticed anything with rewards. Like, rewards seem fine, and I would be the first one yelling about it. So
yes,
like,
yeah.
And then even packs have been, for the most part, okay. I mean, we had the Dwayne Wade situation for Deck the Hoops was, I think, like, not possible. Like the way I think it was a situation again where it was I think in my opinion, it was very similar to this one, where they probably had all of the players shuffled independently, and then they just basically stacked them on top of each other and then handed them out like from top to bottom, and then the bottom ones were Dwayne Wade or something like that.
Yeah, maybe it was even alphabetical by W, in the like last name.
Hey, it could have been something weird like that. I'm just saying that, I think Dapper now finally, hopefully, understands that, what, overconfidence in your engineering is like, it's a bad thing, and you should always just be on your toes about like, is something working? Constantly test, constantly, prove that it's working as expected.
And you have to think too that, like even though we were talking about how the top collectors, let's say, were the ones affected by this mishap, what we were talking about earlier is also valid, which is that there must have been a lot of other people with their eyes on this whole thing and their eyes on the marketing of this whole thing, and then all of a sudden they pay attention to Twitter and wherever else. And I don't think it was on the official blog, I think, the apology. So I'm sure they're aware that people have their eyes open and are keeping an eye on like what happens when you do a big, massive marketing campaign and then there's egg on your face immediately after. It's not a good look.
Yeah. And it, like Steve kind of mentioned it too, it brings out the conspiracy theorists too, which are always just such an annoying aspect of this. Like the Wade one specifically, you know, people have this way of thinking nowadays where they hear three items and so they have to link them all together. So they hear Dwayne Wade not distributed, Dapper purposely held back the Dwayne Wades to make them more valuable, you know, like it's
no, that was always going to be the thing about the
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade situation. It could have been any moment, by the way. It just happened to be like we all knew it was going to be the most expensive one before. Like that was just such a crazy situation.
Yes.
I think one takeaway from that situation, which we know is implemented, is Dapper they withhold like 15% approximately of every single pack drop for, well, in the past they said, you know, customer service, right? So if you're in a queue and you can't check out, they'd be able to give you one or something, or sell you one later on. Or customer service and promotional purposes. The thing about this Dwayne Wade situation that they learned from is if they withhold too many packs, you're actually creating like a customer disservice situation, because now you have like these crazy high value moments that you can't just, in what situation can you hand these out? Like, in what situation can you just gift these on a whim? Like, it's really tough to do that. So I think they learned from that, which we've seen with the last holo drop, was they just held back less packs, which I think is a good outcome, because now you have more people, there's more distribution. You have less of what happened in Series 1, where they held back too many S1 moments, and now you had S1 reserve packs. But like, just distribute all the things. And a part of me thinks that's why we're seeing Series 2 base packs for the rewards for a lot of these class challenges. I think because they want to get rid of them, like rightfully so. I think they just want to put them in collectors' hands.
It's going to be a sad day when easy challenge rewards are S3 packs.
Got to be coming soon, right? Got to be coming soon.
Speaking of challenge, AO is on the top of the assist leaderboard right now, and he could disrupt this challenge as he did the last one. So keep that in mind.
Well, that even this funny rookie 4 badge thing has got the conspiracy theorists. You'll see it on Twitter, like, oh, why does Top Shot keep doing this to us? It's like, what? They don't control who's scoring in these funny parameters.
Yes, they do.
You know?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
The deal that Roham has with the NBA is he calls up and says, okay, you're going to give this guy the ball. This, we need this many assists.
Yeah,
it's part of the deal.
It's assists plus rebounds tonight. So yeah, we're gonna need, all bench players playing. Yeah.
But that actually brings up an interesting question that I want to ask you guys about, which is, so the flash challenges are a huge success. Obviously, they're really exciting. I mean, it's that anxiety that we all feel seeing if one of these 4 badgers that we don't have enters and that kind of thing. What is going to happen after the Rising Stars common set comes out and all these bottlenecks are basically removed? What's that going to do to flash challenges, you think?
I mean, I think they're still going to be fun and they're still going to be entertaining. They're just going to be less expensive, right? And the reward will be worth less.
Yeah. It'd just be higher minted reward moments, I suppose.
Well, I think that even the higher tier might have the text that you have to use the Top Shot debut or whatever, right, for the higher reward. But yeah, I think it's a good outcome. Actually, I've been looking forward to the Rising Star set for this exact reason, because I think not being able to participate in the easy challenges because of some 4 badge rookie, I think it's a good way to piss people off. So I'd rather not do that, especially if it's marked easy, because it's marked easy, I got to pay $600.
Right.
What the hell?
And they've done like they with, I think last night or the last one, and then I think this weekend, right? They said you use an S1 or S2 moment, But if they don't have one, you have to use the S3, and that's where we get into that 4-badge territory, and that's the challenge. So it's interesting because the NBA, like, you get rookies, and rookies play on certain teams. I think COVID has played a role. People have been out, so more rookies have played more minutes because of COVID and other things. It may just be a super unique year. I don't know.
Yeah, and a good rookie class too, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's true. I think it'll be more fun. The original point was what happens when Rising Stars comes out. I have a IRL friends, a lot of them that are on Top Shot, and they're not the on Twitter everyday kind of guys. And I commonly get texts that are, "Oh, Mobley took me out of my opportunity again," And so there are, I think, a lot of these casual people we're really hoping to embrace into our ecosystem. That I think that these 4-badgers have made it hard. So I think the Rising Star set's great, and that might even be why they did the MS, the metal silver of a few of these rookies as well, just to try to get some more completions on these easy.
And those got bottlenecked every single time.
I know. Almost comically. If it wasn't Mobley or Barnes, then all of a sudden Bones will have a night, or it's Trey Mann, or whatever it is. I think Trey Mann's pumping right now too, so I will need to check my account soon and maybe unload one.
Well, and I forgot the point I was going to make. It was a good one, though. I promise you. It might have been the best point all night long.
Well, one question I have for you guys: what do you think is like the future of this metallic silver as rewards? Do you think that? Because I think if I remember correctly, it's one player per season gets a metallic silver, or every player can only get one metallic silver, right? So
every player can only get one of any moment, I believe, this season. So you couldn't. Isn't that it? Can't they only have 160K, one?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
9999,
60K, but there's going to be at least 2 in the base set, I think.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought they said it was 1 this year because they were stopping. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I thought it was.
Especially like ones that have like the 10K. They're going to have an accompanying 60K moment at some point.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, 1 of every mint size. So would they count? You're right. Yeah. Maybe metal silver doesn't count as a mint size, so maybe they could have.
Well, the thing about metallic silver, metallic silver fan, I guess, is that was never part of the roadmap. That was kind of tacked on after the fact, right? So it's been a fun set for that reason, because it's basically just it's all the things they couldn't do in the roadmap that they want to do.
Right.
And it's given an excuse to basically mint all these weird moments and even flash challenges. Like I think that metallic silver predates the flash challenge. I think to the point where you couldn't really have you couldn't really have metallic silvers if the flash challenge didn't they're both dependent on each other, and flash challenges kind of allowed that set to kind of happen. So it's pretty cool to see.
Well, and we talked to Austin on Spaces one time recently. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but recently. And he talked about how much fun he has with the Metallic Silver Fandom Edition, because it can be these wild moments that don't fit into other places, right? So like you have the Curry record breaker, you have Clay coming back, you have all these different moments that have happened in the NBA season that sort of catalog the NBA season, but don't necessarily fit into, the roadmap, to your point, Steve. And so he's had a ton of fun being able to create these things. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great set.
Yeah. You ever think about what would have happened? I mean, it's kind of a silly question, but like, what would have happened if they didn't sort of stumble on this awesome flash challenge idea? Because that really turned things around. And they had the idea last year in the playoffs. They were doing this kind of thing in the playoffs last year, and then we just didn't hear about it. They didn't use it again, and then all of a sudden it came back, and it was like this massive success. And sometimes I think about, like, in an alternate universe, everyone's fudding Top Shot, and it's like, the whole community basically looks like the subreddit that Steve was talking about. And all of a sudden they bring in these flash challenges. Like, I sometimes wonder about that. What would they have done? Where would we be without flash challenges?
That's a good question, because like right now what would we be doing? Like we'd just be buying more moments and be like, why are you guys not buying my moments? Right? Like we'd be like, why are my moments not moving? Well, there's no reason to buy them. Like
Yes.
I'll put it this way: my Bam Meta bio Top Shot debut would probably be like $100 or $50, right?
Yeah,
Like
and it
the
was
fact that
before
we
the
had well, exactly, the fact that we had this flash challenge recently, like holy shit, there's a reason to buy them again.
Yeah.
Yes, and buy players that aren't just stars. For so long in the summer, our collective mindset became almost just collect stars, because why do you need a Vanderbilt? And that's been, I think, the most exciting part is what would
Yeah.
have happened to some of these lesser moments if they didn't
And you know
gamify
what?
them.
There's this like echo chamber too of like people who buy, like the LeBrons or whatever. They want to pump their bags. They're like, oh, you guys should buy LeBrons. Buy LeBrons. That's the thing, right? It's like I love flash challenges because it's unpredictable, and you really can't pump any bags. Like it's literally like the randomness of the games that pump all the. It's like this is amazing because it really separates but now you have the opposite. It's like, wait, why is no one buying or celebrating the moment I'm buying, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
I hear you. I know what you're talking about, Steve. I know what you're talking about.
you know what I'm saying? So it's,
You know,
it's funny.
I think it also really helps to create this an additional desire to collect sets, right? Because you're collecting all of these different players in these sets. Whether like the season 2 Throwdown set is a huge set of moments. They're all rare, and some of them are relatively random players. And we saw Anthony Simmons go bananas because you needed a rare, right? Like it creates this incentive to buy sets more than just the utility of a pack drop when that the next season set is released or whatever.
Well, I think there's a couple things that happen too, like the set, and as you just mentioned, like the airdrops from completed sets. Like what happens is there's less moments on the market because the moments are now used, they're held in a set. So like the consequences are like values rise across the board because there's just less of them in the market. It's like this is a brilliant economic move by Top Shot to reward set holders because everyone's scrambling because everyone wants an airdrop.
Right.
So yeah. Go ahead.
Did you guys all hold your Anthony Simons reward, or did you sell and buy back?
I held mine.
And you
I didn't have one.
Oh, I held mine. I had 4 or 5 of them, so I sold most of them.
Nice.
So the Wolfpack were selling. It was a very big day and celebratory.
It was a
the
great
thread.
day.
Yes,
That was a
it
great
very
day.
good day.
The Wolfpack.
It was a very good day.
It's fun. It's fun to be right. It's like, yeah, this set isn't awful. Like it's so good.
But that day followed up. I think it was only a challenge or two before. Like Diallo was part of the challenge, right? So there was a couple challenges in a row that were really Wolfpack proud.
We got the official shout out from the Top Shot channel. It's funny with Simons there. I don't know if we were talking about what do these flash challenges do. The Simons today, Portland made a trade. And immediately, the last time I looked, the Simons debut is up 300% since the trade, because his playing time is about to go up 300% for his TSD. So I love that, in so many ways, these flash challenges have affected the market. The speculation market is just wild, but it really leans into guys that know the rosters, know who's going to play, which I like too. We want NBA fans to embrace this product too. So it really brings in the sports fan person.
Yeah, definitely. It caters. It caters to the NBA fan, because if you know who's out, who's not, who's the backup for this position, to your point, somebody gets traded, who's getting more minutes. I mean, it really caters to the NBA fan, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
And something I was just thinking about too was that this flash challenge idea has been such a success. And as I was saying, like, what would they have been doing otherwise? And I almost think that this has given them a head start, and like a massive head start. And so now they can just kind of put these out on like autopilot, basically. Like today it's assists and tomorrow it's rebounds. And, everyone just is so excited. I get a new shiny silver moment with a cool looking, colorful pack. And meanwhile, what they need to be doing is thinking, well, how do we make this website more interactive and more social in a way that completely unrelated to these flash challenges? Because this has given them an amazing head start that they can literally probably milk for the next solid year or longer. So that's how I'm feeling about that.
Yeah, it buys them time. It buys them time because
Yeah.
everyone's happy with something and keeps them distracted. And you know, these silver rewards are awesome because it's, to me, it's a form of staking, right? Where soft staking, where you're not getting money for holding a reward, but you're getting a reward for holding you're getting a reward for holding moments. And why this is it cool is you can sell the moment after the fact, after you get it, and that's basically like your staking bonus.
Mhm.
You can chase it if you didn't have those moments. You can chase the challenge. You know, I think one thing that people are learning, it's not always a wise decision to do that, and that's like, you have to learn that as you go, right? But if you already have those moments, wow. If you already have that rookie, the best decision I ever made was early on. I thought I was overpaying for all the rookies in Series 3. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do the set because I'm an idiot and I'll just do the whole thing. And it turned out to be a great decision because I didn't know they're going to be using all these rookies in flash challenges, right? I only have one of each, right? Although I think I did at one point have like 4 Scotty Barnes, and then when Scotty Barnes hit like $800 for that one challenge, I'm like, I can't hold these all. I'll buy them back. But the best part about this is that the buyback now, the post challenge dip, it doesn't really exist anymore. It's like, it's so subtle. So I thought I was going to buy them back for like $400. It's still $500. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do anymore.
Yeah, that is nice though, because there is a little bit of a dip, but it never dips back to where it was pre-flash, right? Now that may change when Rising Stars comes out and they get more moments on the platform, but for now, you see people that overpay, or they overpay relative to what the moment was before, but they're not so quick to sell it cheap, and so that's nice.
Yeah, even the small even the Covington on Portland, these moments that were $4 before. Geez, he's been $80 for a month now, and all these, just the little moments aren't they go up to 90 and they come back down to 75. It's really nice to see that it's added a lot of stability to the pricing. I noticed LG earlier. You posted an LG comment that he said challenges should just use S1 or S2 coming up, and that's an interesting idea. Doing ones where it's just S2. I think LG is responsible for the metal silver moments too, because he many months ago said they should just start printing new moments to give away instead of giving packs away all the time. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, it was like, oh, he did it again, didn't he?
Do you actually, I want to get your take on another thing. Why do you think certain players don't get new moments and others have like 1,000 moments? Like there's a few players that come to mind. One is like DeAndre Ayton, for example. Although I think he's been injured, but
I think he hasn't been playing as much lately. He hasn't showed up in a flash challenge since the summer. It was in those first flash challenges when Phoenix was on their run that he was showing up a lot of the times. And yeah, that was one of the first pumps ever from a flash challenge, was that DeAndre Ayton playoff moment.
Yeah, but there's like him. It was Anthony Edwards, who's now getting a 10K and a 10K. And yeah, I just wonder why it is that way. I think that I know that in previous things I've watched, they just said like they're holding on and they're kind of waiting to release depending on what play they're going to choose. They don't want to get stuck choosing a play and then something much cooler happens. But that one I can't quite get my head around why some players are like stuck at 40K.
It could be the actual moment. I know Austin is really trying to hold a different standard to the actual moment themselves. So say Halliburton, right? He plays a lot. He's made some challenges that he only has, I think, a 9999 of the new series. It could just be he hasn't had many moments they've loved to put him in. I don't know.
But there's guys like Maxey from Philadelphia, right? Like he plays a lot. And he's got 2 moments on the entire platform. Like, give the guy some moments. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you, Tandy. I don't know why. Covington is another one, right? I think he only has 1 moment, but he's been in the league forever, and he's played on 12 different teams. And I don't know. I don't know why I don't know what they're looking at to create that.
Are they intentionally not making these like the Scotty Barnes 60K to create little more specialness for the 4 badge? I've been wondering.
Well, no, it's coming.
They haven't
Rising Stars. I don't know.
Well, but they haven't even released all the 4 badges, right? Like
That's true as well.
They got to get those out before they can do the next round.
Well, no, I don't think that's. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know if that's true at all, because I think they can still. I guess my assumption was that the 4 badge, like even Scotty Barnes, for example, we'd still be the possibility to pull Scotty Barnes from even like a finals pack. I think would still be a possibility if they still had one left.
Yeah, that's
true. That's the way I interpreted it. Like you could pull a 60K from the pack. You could pull the rookie,
Sure.
the 4 badge.
The 4K,
maybe I'm mistaken there though.
No, you're probably right. I think you might be right.
Wolf, that's LG confirming your conspiracy.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's an evil laugh. I can tell from the.
What a shame to have an LG laugh in text.
No, I think that's true. I think they released half of the supply of the 4 Badgers on that first drop, and then I think they trickle them out through the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So I think that is what happens. So you just don't see many. I saw someone on Twitter, I can't verify, but I think they mentioned there was 2 Mobleys or 2 Barneses up for grabs in this last drop on Thursday. So they're really slow trickling them.
Yeah, when that stress pack was released, whenever that was, a few days ago, I think when they were testing the different tiers, something like that, or whatever they were testing, I don't remember. But I was looking at the player list on that one. It didn't seem very exciting. Do you guys recall the S3 stress pack that recently went?
I have bad memory. A pack. I think I was the first person to not get a pack. It brought me to the buy screen, and then it was like, sorry, just sold out. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't actually partake in that. I was working and I couldn't get involved in it, so I don't know. Steve, did you see the any of what was in those packs?
I can't recall what was in the packs, but I can't remember what the queue number was. I didn't get one.
Well, that's a good segue to the next question, which is just so we know they're doing this new pack pricing and whatever distribution for the next month, it appears. I would think they want to continue that past this next month. I think it's probably in their best interest. What do you guys think about this new way of selling packs? Do you like it? Do you like the $19 compared to the $9? And not just for yourself, but I think for like new users.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in quick. I think it's great for new users because it creates the opportunity for them to get moments they wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to get. And, unless somebody wants to jump in and spend a bunch of money on the marketplace to get their collector score up, to get into a queue for, you know what I mean? Like, I think this is one way to entice people into a lottery. And I think people love that. They love scratch tickets, right? They love the idea that I'm going to win the Powerball. They love that chance. So for me, I think it's great for the new user.
The $20 price point is a lot better than the UFC and the football one that we've seen, the $50 potential to get 3 commons as well, too. It's not quite the risk that it had. I agree with you, Mark. I think the new user will most likely like this format. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it, though. I think that I don't like it every time, but probably a good way to start getting maybe spreading out the hollows and the MGLEs when we have a shuffle that does that, allows that to happen. Probably a good way to broaden the ecosystem with these big moments, as opposed to just 25K collector score people can get the deck the hoops. It's probably a good thing for us as a whole if we can get some moments in the newer hands.
I will say,
I'll echo both of those.
Before you jump in, though, Steve, let me just say, for me personally, I've been busting my tail to build a collector score to get into these queues. So I think it's great for the new user, but I'm not so sure how much I like it. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, I know. It's these packs are great. I think on paper, it's great. If you want to pull 5 hollows in a row, these are the packs for you. These are the
That was salty. Come on, Steve.
I'm playing. No, we know. In all seriousness, these packs are good. I liked them before. Before what happened. I still like them now. I know that going forward they'll be shuffled and they'll be good. I think it's awesome because people have been begging since I joined to have rares and legendaries in a common pack, and we've got them. One of the consequences though is like Belgium and France are unable to participate. So Dapper's playing by the rules.
Yeah, well, to that point though, because we've talked to Jacob and others from Top Shot and from Dapper, and they have specifically cited loot box laws and all kinds of things. How'd they get around it? What changed between like 3 months ago?
They didn't get around it. They basically said we're not selling to the countries that have loot box laws that prohibit us from doing the thing. So
they just cut them out. They
just cut them out. They gerrymandered all around the thing and said we're not. this area doesn't exist, and to these people. But you know what? I think they have to do that because they're just they're complying with local regulations in Belgium and France. I think I don't know. I'm just speculating, whatever. But if you live there, hypothetically, if you used a VPN, you probably could still buy packs. I think Dapper has to go and use their best efforts to thwart that. But one huge takeaway, which I'll mention, probably the best takeaway from yesterday that we can all be happy with, is Dapper is not going to take our moments. Right? Yesterday was I saw lots of comments saying, "Oh, Dapper should just take those hollows back and reshuffle them in different packs." They're not doing that. They're not taking moments that someone bought and opened and whatever. And I think yesterday was a really clear example of Dapper is not going to take your moments. I saw just a lot of comments. It's so easy. Just take their moments back. They're not doing that. That's ridiculous. And I'm really happy.
Terrible option.
Terrible. You can't undermine the concept of digital ownership once you have something. So yeah, that's actually a really good takeaway here is that they have doubled down on if you own it, it's in your account, it's yours. That's it.
Yeah.
So
can you imagine if that happened in the physical card industry? You bought some packs and some guy shows up at your house. Sorry, sir, you're gonna have to give me these cards. We had a bad shuffle,
But what do you think about the flip side of that coin, which is if you go to the casino and you play the slot machine and you get jackpot twice in a row, there's gonna be some huge security guard behind you as soon as that second one goes off, and they'll probably turn that machine off. And they'll probably never let you visit that casino again.
But they won't take your money back. They can't take your money back.
Well, yeah, they can't take. Well, in this case, though, I mean, this is on Dapper. The casino is down, and they'd have to basically give the moment. I don't know. I guess yesterday wasn't a big enough example. I mean, is there a scenario hypothetical? There was a fat finger, and someone accidentally sent me a platinum ice moment. It's are they going to take it back? Yeah, they might. Right.
Maybe if a user hacked in through the queue or something.
Yeah, well, I think there's even in terms of service, hypothetically, they could say, "Oh, this was it was illegitimate or it was gotten without whatever." There is 100% something they can point to say we have to take it back. But yesterday they didn't invoke that, so that's I think that's a huge win.
I think maybe the difference being if it's something that I do that creates that situation, they might take it back. But if it's an issue that they've created, then maybe they won't take it back, right? Maybe that's the line they draw.
So I actually have the results of I ran a poll. Let's see here, asking people what would make them happy with the situation from yesterday, and here's the results. If you guys can see that, is that Sharon? Yeah, there it is. So that's what people are saying. Just for those of you who are curious, 24% pack refund is enough. 32% want some pack refund and Dapper, and 38% want pack refund and a rare pack. So that's the word on the street.
Well, people always do want more, so I guess it's not surprising.
I want 5 hollows.
I want a rare pack too. I want a rare pack too. I think the
Steve,
UFC.
I want the 5 highest valued moments in your collection.
The UFC set a precedent with their mistake thing that you got the money back plus a moment. So I think a lot of people were basing their response on that, which I guess is fair. But who doesn't want more, right? We
Steve,
can
you're
never get
muted.
Sorry, thank you. I'm happy with the outcome of like the giving the money back. That's great, right? I guess what I'm upset about, or is the challenge component and making it unfair for anyone who was considering doing a challenge. So if they can fix that, then I'll be like less upset about this. And also, if they just take the shuffling more seriously in the future, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, show a transparent audit. I think that would be nice. I think that would go a long way to satisfying all the OGs in the community that have wondered in the past. From the Dwayne Wade thing was a bit of a stain, and then this piled on top of it. I think you're right. We need to see some action on the shuffle end.
For sure. All right. Well, let's see let's see what we got in the comments here. Matt's thinking that Mark, you bounced as soon as the VPN was mentioned. That's pretty sus of you.
Actually,
He's in Belgium right now.
my wife was sharpening a pencil, and I didn't want the world to hear that. I apologize.
I figured you were yelling at your kids or something.
No, but they've come in like 16 times. It's crazy.
That's fine. They're welcome. They're welcome.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
Yeah. We'll go on the Wolf Den after dark in a few minutes. Less family. We keep it clean for Tandy.
So here's a question that just came in. Why not do something like a Gift 2.0 and airdrop everyone a pack? Make it fandom so it fits in with the roadmap and you're all good. Any opinions on that?
I mean, I love airdrops. I love packs. I'm sure.
Yeah, I like it. If they're feeling like the sentiment is so negative, yeah, you could do that. Maybe they could have some fun idea. We mentioned Record Shop on our Spaces, Tandy, before you came on. One of the funniest things they did was make a WFU pack, a We Fucked Up
I remember
pack.
that. That's the old pack I got.
There you go. So that would be kind of funny if they made a moment or a pack like that. But
I can't wait. Go ahead, Steve.
No, the Record Shop. I think I bought one of the first packs. I haven't really been to the website since. Like, what's happened? Should I be checking the website? Do I have anything waiting there for me?
Maybe.
Even the We Fucked Up pack. Do I have one of those?
You might have a
You might. Who knows?
Yeah, you might have a We Fucked Up pack. Record Shop, the interesting part is seeing how they're doing challenges and sort of the future forward stuff they've done. Mark and I have talked about it, and they have one going right now is something we haven't seen on Top Shot yet.
No, it's really interesting. And to kind of go back a little bit, I know Tandy, when we were on Spaces, we were talking about some of the uniquenesses. One of the things that Record Shop allows you to do is burn moments. So you, as a user in your collection, can choose the moments that you want to burn. They call them cards, right?
If you have a lighter or matches.
But you have to have something to burn them with, which might mean you need to go to the marketplace and buy it. And each card you burn has a coin value. And so when you burn that card, you get that coin value, right? So if the card is worth 10 coins, the only way to get those 10 coins is to burn the card. So it's a really interesting aspect to sort of the gamification of the platform. And the challenge that they put out today, and I didn't get into it too deep, so Wolf, I don't know.
Briefly looked at it.
But you can it's like a scavenger hunt. They give you some clues, and you have to find the right cards. But if you find the right cards, you actually meld them together and create another card.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting stuff that, Wolf and I talk about Record Shop a lot, and the music isn't really my thing. It's, that's not my favorite kind of music. It's not Wolf's favorite kind of music, but it's a really cool platform, and they're doing some pretty ingenious things with that platform. So it's a lot of fun to participate on.
Yeah. The other thing they did that was that Mark and I both really liked was say it was for a metal silver moment, right? Say any player, it's the Mobley moment, and we all complete it. So they did that. They had use these cards to get this moment, but the lower the sum of the serial numbers on the cards affected the distribution. So the person who put in the challenge rewards with the lowest serial got the earliest distribution of the reward. So they created sort of a game within a game, one game to get the cards for the challenge, and then one to get lower cereals, and then affect how the reward is distributed. So they're doing some really, really interesting stuff there conceptually with how they sort of affect their cards and challenges.
Yeah,
That's really
I would not have guessed. I thought it was just like a platform for people who like listening to house music to like loop a 1 minute clip or something. That's what I thought.
One of the other really cool things that they did relatively recently, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago, is they allowed users, if I can't remember what you had to do. You may have had to have a set, or you had to have a certain moment. There was something you had to do. You had to complete a challenge, something. And you actually participated in the making of a song that became a card. So you're like credited sort of in that production.
Producer, yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting stuff. And some of it, I think, would be interesting to see on the Top Shot platform. We've all talked about serial numbers and how those could be used with, burning moments. I mean, all of these things would be really interesting to introduce into a platform like Top Shot.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Caterade from the Wolfpack, who is working on these challenges. He's a Top Shot fan who got a job with them, and he's, I think, applying some of what they were doing and taking that to another level. And Record Shop being a bit more, like in music, you have your mainstream bands. Record Shop's more like an indie band. They can take some more chances. They can try these little innovations. They're not quite as stuck to the parameters that Top Shot is. So they're doing some really interesting stuff there. If you just want to buy a couple packs and see what's going on, it's really neat. Like Mark said, not my favorite music, but it's still really, really cool example of where we could see Top Shot going in the next couple of years with these challenges.
Yeah,
very cool. I'll have to take a closer look. I'll have to open that pack finally. I have that we messed up pack as well.
Yeah, we messed up pack. Yeah. Also a platform that let us sell packs right off the bat. I did enjoy that.
Well, I mean, apparently NFL All Day is going to be doing that too, right? As soon as that marketplace is live.
Interesting. Okay. I wonder if UFC will be the same.
Probably will, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And they're probably just kind of building on top of each other like open source software.
UFC was very quick to cancel its drop yesterday after Shufflegate.
Oh, were they? I didn't even know that there was
a
drop yesterday.
Their drop was supposed to be, I think, Sunday.
But why? So they canceled it because of what happened? Why are the
two? I
linked?
Can't say it was linked. It just, the news came out as Shufflegate was happening. So it seemed like their marketplace and next pack drop got put a week back. I'm probably doing the conspiracy internet thing where two events happen and I draw a line between them, and then,
Yeah.
We're here for the conspiracies, Wolf.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Put the tinfoil hats on, gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, I can pull up Reddit if you really want. We'll be here all night. But
it's gotten better recently. I'm just saying, months ago it was, not great.
It has.
I was looking. I mean, during the dark days, I think I was just consuming all that stuff. It's like doom scrolling on Twitter.
It's addictive.
Yeah, I know. Why do we do that? I don't know. Here's one, Steve.
Yo,
why are you motivated to be the number one Raptors collector?
Because I'm the number one Raptors fan.
Look at his sweatshirt, man. Come on.
Raptors. You know what? It's you got to pick a team, right? You got to pick a lane, and I've been a Raptors fan all my life, so yeah, I'm not gonna let this King Dragon guy knock me off. Yeah, right. I'm taking that back. We've been going back and forth, friendly, of course, but that could change real quick.
Are you number one or number two right now?
I believe I'm number one.
Oh, good. I only like winners, so nobody likes Garfunkel.
I mean, we've been going back and forth for a while. He's been. Oh wait, someone said check the leaderboard. You guys just set me up? Did you just set me up right now?
I swear I didn't. I wrote this note before starting. Are we about to get a live look at Steve seeing that he's number two?
I'm going there right now.
I fucking got it. Son of a. So
Steve, on air, let's go. Get to the top.
Steve, go buy 10 Van Fleet hollows. Go buy 5 Van Fleet hollows.
You only need a hollow and a couple of rares. Come on.
I was looking forward to those Fred Van Fleet hollows, and didn't get, they're not being sold right now in the market.
King Dragon's been
somebody with
watching
5.
Tandy's show and like, I'm gonna get him while he's live on air. While he's not watching.
Oh my gosh.
Sneaky,
No, good.
sneaky. Yeah,
Trevor,
it's
Trevor,
funny
well
because he's still
gotta
exactly. He set me up here. You both set me up, but
Don't lump me into this. Man.
yeah, no. Well, from what I'm seeing though, like he's still beating me with like my own original strategy, which was stacking Series 2 bases. So
yeah, it's the best use, right?
Yeah, I bought some legendaries recently. It's like, why did I do that? I should have just bought like, I could have got 4 times a collector score with bases.
It's really hard when I look at my leaderboard for the Spurs and I'm like, I want to jump up to the next spot. God, I could spend $1,500 on a legendary moment or a hollow moment of some sort, and I could get 3,000, or I could spend $100 on an S2, and I get the same same amount, right?
Yeah.
Like 36 points a moment. It's crazy.
Well, that's when they botched the collector score, and that's actually been a sore point for me because even when they launched collector score, they originally said, you know what, this is kind of like an experiment. We'll tweak it, whatever. They never did. It's like, oh yeah, we got it right the first time. It's like, well, did you? Because like these legendaries, like they're not very legendary. They don't feel very powerful. When everyone's incentivized to stack garbage players because the collector score is high, what's the point there? So joke's on me for buying Raptors legendaries. I should have just bought like Chris Boucher and Terrence Davis commons.
I want to see it right now. Open up those tabs, buy some moments while we're on air. I want you to take over the spot.
I'm a little more strategic that way, right? I'm taking it back, but I just got to plot. I got to plot and figure out
He's got to find it when King Dragon's sleeping or has a family dinner, so that he checks it after, and just to his surprise. I have given our spaces got rugged while we were talking, so I've opened up the spaces and given our after show a 5-minute warning so that we'll go live on spaces at 7 if that's all right. 10 o'clock Eastern time. Sorry.
Perfect.
Sure. So how does that work? You get rugged if it's live for too long without.
Mark's actually just old and not very good with technology.
My cell phone is awesome.
All right. All right. Sure. So then that would be a 5-minute warning for the spaces then.
Yeah. So if you guys want to jump in the spaces, and we'll continue on after this. If you have any, I don't know if you have any more questions from the people out there right now.
We'll give them the question video. Where is that? Here it is.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Love it.
I loved that video. That was great. I'm a pug guy. I like a pug.
Let's see. Well, it looks like I'm going to scroll up. Let's see. I think this guy's talking about Record Shop. Cool concept. He's fudding Record Shop a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's a legitimate concern because I think there are a bunch of people on the platform that came over from Top Shot and are just looking to get out and put that money back into Top Shot or other projects. So
they came in to make They came in to make money.
Yeah,
as I did too. I saw someone tweeting about it and got in, and maybe I'll get more money.
Right.
Well, no one comes in to lose money. I don't.
True.
Yeah. I mean, break even is like a goal for some. Have some fun along the way, but not losing money.
Yeah. Any other flow projects that you guys are interested in right now?
All the flow projects.
Yeah.
Are you buying all of them?
Well, I mean, I'm a broke old man, so I can only buy a few. But like, Hoodlums, which is built on flow. That project seems to have some pretty interesting backing and potential, right? I mean, the artist has a TV show already and has some pretty interesting connections to the music world, and I think they're going to be putting on some different events in Vegas at different times of the year. And
so that announcement was pretty impressive. There's a lot of really cool shows in Vegas that I would never go to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably never going to. I mean, I'm gonna go to Vegas to meet up with the wolf pack, but I don't know that I'll be hitting the hoodlums.
I would definitely go to some of
But
those
like
shows.
Wolf,
All
you're going to Coachella, right? And you can use your hoodlum to do some special
Yeah.
stuff at Coachella.
Yeah, they
Oh,
haven't
really?
formally announced it, but Stacked was on our Wolf Den that we're going to join in a few minutes here, and he mentioned that they're going to have some type of Coachella meetup for lum holders. So that has me really intrigued. They announced today too another festival with huge bands like Tame Impala and stuff like that.
I'm interested. That's my favorite.
That's Tandy's favorite
There you
band.
go. Free entry to the festival in Florida if you have a hoodlum.
Hmm.
So it seems like they're really some hoodlum that is very connected in the music industry. I mean, he's done legitimate stuff, and I could see it. I feel like the buzz is that I think musicians are going to start using them. You know, I think it could legitimately have some in the PFP looks different than a lot of the other stuff. Some people don't like it at all. I quite like the art style. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be one that's been fun to follow, and seems like real life utility has actually started. I mean, they announced 20 concerts you can get into free this week, so that's really cool.
I think that musicians will use it until musicians come out with their own.
That's also true.
Because a Canadian band, Our Lady Peace, they've put out an NFT. Well, you might not like them, but like they put out an NFT, right? And they auctioned off an NFT that allowed you to have, I forget what it was, but it's like backstage access to every concert ever, and merchandise and like all this stuff. And it was selling, when I looked at it, it was like $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see artists begin to get into that space themselves. And then it'll be interesting to see how some of these other NFTs, if artists will still recognize those as sort of a partnership, or if they'll just focus completely on their own. But for now, to your point, Wolf, the some hoodlums he's connected, so
cool.
It's got legs.
And
So
Flo,
here's the last question here. Flo.
he's a dog. I got a dog.
There you go. The UGA dogs. So buy or not buy? I think we almost certainly answered this question earlier when we talked about the new packs, which is you guys like
Buy.
Buy.
Always buy.
Always buy.
Always.
Always buy.
And then get back in line after.
That's where I screwed up. By the way, I didn't get back in line.
Steve. Me too, Steve. I had position.
I walked away. I'm like,
35.
I can't buy more, can I? And then
I thought so too.
I'm a dummy.
Well, they didn't tell us. They didn't tell us.
Dummies.
The only reason I was able to get back in line is because I was so far in the back of the first line that I found out I could get back in line.
Yeah, I missed my hollow. All right. Well, I think it's about that time. So, Wolf, if you want to start that up, I'll do my little outro video here.
Sounds good.
And,
if you are listening to this YouTube, go to the Wolfpack Twitter. We have just started our spaces there, and hopefully we'll start populating it and have a drink and talk for another hour and a half. So
I'll probably sleep in the next 10 minutes, but I'll be there for the first 10.
Yeah,
so
come there for a bit. Come for a bit.
Thank you guys for joining me here, and I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you there on Spaces.
It was awesome. Thanks, Tandy.
Thanks so much, Tandy.
All right.
Static Selector.